crypto, stock market, gold, everything is dropping. And the question which everyone is asking right now is how bad is it? Did we reach a bottom yet? Because at a time when you see articles like this showing Bitcoin collapses, okay, it went from $1 to 70,000 and it's at $30,000. And if you look at the history, you understand that stuff. But the question is, are we near a bottom? Did we put in a bottom? So if you look at the charts, it gives you some clues, like look at the RSI, then look at the price structure. So that kind of gives you an easy idea where we are right now. But it also shows you the potential for this market reaching a bottom. Now look at S&P, it's inside this pattern. Now if we break to the downside, that's bad. But if not, we are going to bounce. That's the structure which you can observe there when dollar is making this cup and handle on a macro and it's breaking to the upside. So that doesn't actually feel good for a lot of other currencies, including INR, CAD and others. But if your country does not actually have a lot of gold, this is going to hurt you differently. There's Netflix stock, it's dropping. This one is actually Tesla, and you still have room to the downside. So now while you go through this one by one, we are going to discuss through this. This is the dollar and going up, up, up. As we talked before, we are going to break higher. Why? We're going to have the rate hikes. And I was looking for 50, and now we have 75. So the rate hikes are now really aggressive, and it's going that way. But some of the areas are okay, it's actually a bit more like a bull flag. And if we have noticed it correctly, then we'll have a possibility where it looks like this. Okay, you may break to the upside short term, but you're going to come back down because that pattern itself is bearish. Now, if you look at the opposite market, see here, CAD, instead of rupees, that's showing something really bad for the Canadian market. So if you are in Canada, there is going to be hardships. But if you are prepared for this, meaning you are in dollar or you are in a hedge, that may not be that bad. But right now, the question is, what's crypto market doing, right? What do you really feel? And I personally think we are putting in the bottom. We are done this correction. Now, why do I actually think like that? Because, if you look at this, after you went above this, yeah, you went up, that's fine. But you came lower, did a ABC type of correction there. Now same stuff, you are doing it again. You go up, you correct, and then you go up, slowly coming back down, putting this ABC structure in. So if you're observing just the correction, you actually had this pattern play out. That is actually good here. Then again, you are doing the same. Now in terms of percentage, now we can use both the moving averages, 50-day, 200-day, but we are going with the 200-day moving average right now on this one. When the 50 crosses the 200 to the downside, which we call the death cross, the price has already reached the bottom. You can see that. You're crossing that and you're at the bottom. So you didn't actually go lower from there like the majority actually suggests you. Now, if it's in a short-term chart, yes, it does. But here you can see okay, if that's a bull market, you're not going lower. Fine. Now, you look at this. You had another death cross here, but the price didn't go lower from there. It started moving back up, right? It even made a higher high. So it's not a bear market yet for me. Now, look at this. The first one from the 200-day moving average to the bottom here, it's 32%. Now we come here in the next one. Again, that's the same 32%. Now, after that relief rally, you come back down to retest that. And at that point, it's 34%. That's 34.53 here. And this time it's 34. Now it's somewhere close, but you get the idea here. You go back up, you come back to retest that, and most likely you're going to make the same percentage. Now with respect to 200-day moving average, that's the case. Now, if you zoom out on a weekly, you get more news, right? You're actually looking at the indicators, the price, the support zone, and the price structure. And then you understand, okay, that's a good thing. Now, yeah, the price dropped, but right now, at this particular sense, I know it's hard. If you look at this particular candle, we are going down heavily. It's not a wick when I'm coming out and saying this, right? Right now, you go look at the market and you're okay, that's actually fine, because when you look at the price, you are getting this vibe like, okay, price is wicking to the downside, right? Price went lower towards 30,500, but buyers came back in buying, and it's pushing the price up. But when I was posting this, that was not the case. We were at that bottom. But personally, I felt like the selling volume. Yes, if you go look at Coin Paprika, you will be surprised. Like I was surprised when I woke up to this one. Looking at 1 billion in buy and 5 billion in sale. And I'm like, that's something I really don't understand. Where is this coming from? Because the same goes for Ether, but that's not the case for BNB. That's not the case for XRP. Buyers are still there weighing above the sellers. So you actually get a point where people are trying to move out, one, and people are trying to move in on the other side. So that's utility, and that's going to play out well. Now, when you come onto this one to look at the, you need to actually look at all the different steps from the Bitcoin dominance to the Bitcoin chart of these assets, because this is going to play out much differently when dollar is going up. Now, if you look at this dollar pattern, we have the exact same pattern in some cryptos. Now, there's a lot of them. Now, we have 20,000 crypto coins, right? Within that 20,000 crypto coins, you have at least 10, 20 of them making this particular pattern, which is similar to that of dollar, which happened to, now, yeah, it did wick to the downside, creating that panic in the market, but it broke to the upside and it's going to the upside. So if you're looking at this, that's an XLM chart and this is an XRP chart. Now we do have others which kind of, goes like XLM chart. We have a lot of them, and we've been covering those in our monthly digest, right? We've been covering that in the Patreon, so that you guys actually know, okay, what are the assets which are preparing for the next big run. Now, yeah, scary days in crypto, I know that. But you're here, right? So here for the truth. So welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Now, when you get these kind of articles at a psychological level like this, it's really important to see what's happening there. Now, you had made this as a support, and right now you're respecting the price. Look at the RSI. First time when you visited there, it was like a 50% drop. Then there was a relief rally, and again a 30% drop back down. Fine. Now this is not with the 200-day moving average, this is with the indicators. Now, you look at next time, when you come back down after putting in a new high, you actually come lower, touch the same structure support trend line, and bounce. But that's also around 50% drop. Then you get a relief rally, but you come back lower to the exact same area. So if we are to expect and extrapolate this for the future, you're like, okay, learning from the recent past and the actual price history, I think this is going to be a support. So your indicators suggest that you're close to a support or you're on one, and most likely you're going to bounce. That was the main reason why I was saying this, because we had previous post from yesterday, day before yesterday, saying we do have room to the downside here in the RSI, so we may drop more from that 34 mark. And yes, we came to 35. We came to 3,500. So that's a drop, but we reached the price level which we actually wanted to. Because if you're zoomed in, you're looking at a daily, you're seeing this, that the price is dropping. Now we do understand that, but you go on, say for example, you're going to look at XRP, BTC, and you're still there at the bottom. You're just consolidating in the macro structure. You're not doing much. You're still there without doing much. But in the market, if you come and look at the structure right now, this is a stable coin, right, Terra. Then USD is actually dropping. We've been observing this, and I was like, okay, we just saw a tweet where okay, this is fine, people are buying that, but I also happen to see a tweet where Bitcoin is already 35,000, but it's against USD. So if you want to sell your Bitcoin for a higher price, you do have one, because that one is slowing down or collapsing. Now that's this one from Dan Crypto Trade. So if you actually look at this, okay, fine, this one is happening only because of that particular coin is having issues. So if you look at that, they've been buying a lot of Bitcoin. Now to support this, to build the reserves for USD, to peg it back, they need the money to come in back. And that's one of the reasons why it's actually dropping, and they are trying to put this. And that's where this amount of sell for Bitcoin, for Ether, comes into play. Now imagine institutions are there out there saying we are going to sell 5 billion worth of Bitcoin at $30,000. You guys come in and buy this. Will you buy that? At least, I won't. Because if your average is 5,000, 6,000 and you're just riding this, waiting this, you don't really want to buy it. Whereas say, like El Salvador, they came in at 40, 45, 50, 60. They were buying heavily during that time as the price was going up, right? So they have to buy an average down. They don't have any other options. So for you and me who have been here for a long time, we've in this market, we have seen these drops. We are like, okay, fine. Unless it's below my average, I don't care. But if the pattern actually suggests you that this is going to happen and you're going to rally to the upside, because now this is important to understand, because here in the USD, you literally have it just like 66% to the upside. And you actually get these drops like 20%, 10%. But when you come to crypto, that's not 66%. That's like 25, 30x as a measured move. So the drop will also be like that, 50, 60%, 70% drops. And that's how the market actually works. So if you can't actually digest these drops, it's really going to be hard for you to actually look at where the market is going to go. Now, just look at the altcoin market as a whole on a weekly. So you are just looking at the altcoin market and you are like, okay, we are breaking to the downside, right? We had a lot of upside, but right now we are actually breaking to the downside. So that doesn't actually look pretty on that view. But you just take a line, a curve, and just see what's happening here. You will feel like, okay, that is a rounded top being formed in the price. Now delete all of this and keep the same idea in your mind, which is the rounded top, feeling like, okay, we are going to go to the downside. Again, I'll just put that curve there so you don't actually miss when we are discussing this with the historical price reaction. So this is the rounded top we are talking about. And then you come lower here. The first time you get this, now we've been waiting for this from a long time. If you go back, look at the March 2021 videos, late February, early March, we were discussing about this because we reached this territory thinking, okay, we are going to go into a consolidation. That's a possibility. Now that's a possibility. But now we don't know where the bottom is actually going to be, but we know that the history repeats and rhymes. And if that happens, we have wave 2. Now, before every waves, you get these massive corrections. Now we kind of say that, okay, it's clearing the market, weekends are moving out, and a lot of other stuff. But one thing is for sure, when you look at it, you do understand that the market actually corrects heavily. And you don't actually take out the previous support. So now that's the first step you are going to have to see whether we are going to hold on to the previous support. So for us, the previous support is here. That's a huge way. And you are literally putting up a higher low here. So most likely you're going to hold it till this point. Now, that's a long wick then and there itself. But inside this crypto market, understand there are coins which are like, 20,000 coins. So you are going to literally observe ton of coins doing these 30% drops, right? Then you go into small cap, medium cap, and you're going to see a lot of pain there. 20, 30, 40% down, and they are going continuously to the downside. The volume is reducing. So if you look at this one, it's like $4,000 in buy, $11,000 in sale. So that doesn't actually make much of a sense to go into that asset without liquidity. Because even if it pumps from there 200%, you may not be able to take your money out. So that's why liquidity actually matters. So when you enter into these assets and with this idea, and time. Now, without time, you may not be able to survive in this market. But if you have time, look at this. Where are we? Because in the altcoins, Bitcoin, I agree, we are close to the support in the RSI. Whereas the altcoins, we still have a bit more room. Now, it's a little bit, but that's still a little bit more room to the downside to reach that support. So in altcoins, even if Bitcoin is making a base and slowly moving up, we may first see capitulations. We are going to get those kind of stuff. Say, for example, XRP is already breaking through its macro pattern, showing, okay, I'm capitulating. But if you put in your moving average, it's bouncing, or I expect it to bounce from the 200-day moving average, which is here at 0.49. We've discussed about this in the last video, saying there is a possibility we may wick lower, come down, touch that 0.49, 0.5 range, and then slowly bounce back higher. Now that is going to happen, and if you really need these kind of updates for your portfolio with the macro structure, the geopolitical scenario, what's happening here and there in the crypto asset, the other markets, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. And your portfolio, you get complete idea about the price structure and what you can expect. So guys, if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. That supports the channel a lot. I'll meet you guys in the next video. Bye for now.